Welcome back to the second video, and today we're going to be working on the making the scroll down indicator clickable. And I know the last part that we spoke about in the last video was why we're going to use the anchor tag and the href equals hashtag review, which is the simplest and most accessible way to jump to a section, as I said before. Let me give you a quick recap of what I mean by that. The hashtag part points to an ID on the page. So let's say if we go and look at the ID right here, the ID in this case, if we go to HTML for, like, let's say landing, well, landing doesn't have one yet, but we're going to create one right now. If we go to landing and we're looking for the landing section, which is the first section on the page, we're going to go ahead and add a landing ID. Now this landing ID is for the later video, which is the scroll to top button that we're going to add. But this ID works with the hashtag. And let's say this one right here, like this one has a hashtag. Now this hashtag, like I said before in the last video, if we take a look, let's go ahead and save it, and now it should be good. Okay, so this has a hashtag or href tag that is saying, hey, look, I want to reference the ID called reviews, and the way you say that is by putting the hashtag in front of reviews, and then it's gonna go and say, hey, there's an ID around here with the name of reviews, so that's where I'm gonna go to. And the ID is obviously the section where it says reviews. And if we go ahead and press Control F and we look for reviews, it's this section right here that has an ID, reviews. So that's why it scrolls down to reviews. And it uses the scroll down or the Anchor plugin. I believe the plugin, I mentioned it in the last video also. The plugin is called AnchorPlugin, just like that, just like I said in the first place. It's in the app.js. So we can easily go to the app.js and you're gonna see the Anchor plugin right here. Okay, so that's how that works at the moment, and I don't think you should worry too much about it, because it's a simple mechanism and we're gonna make sure that it works the way we expect it to work. So we're gonna go ahead and make the scroll down indicator clickable, and the way we're gonna do that is by a simple mechanism. First and foremost, we have to go, first of all, we have to choose what section in the site we want to make it you know, that we want to reference to, what part that we want in the site, that when we click that button, will it go to that specific section? What section do we want? As of right now, I picked reviews, but I'm thinking about picking projects actually. So right now it's set to go automatically to the project section. I just deleted that. That actually was coming from our previous example. But let's go ahead and take that out the way, and if we click on the button right now, it shouldn't do anything because there's nothing, it's not clickable right now. But that's when I press project. As soon as I press project, this link is going to stay like that, because your cached from your browser is going to keep it there. There's a way to get rid of that, but as of right now, I don't want to focus on that. We could do that later for an extra video or extra, you know, practice. You know, practice makes perfect. So let's go ahead and take that off for now. Matter of fact, I probably just press no. If I press F5 is still gonna stay there. So you have to manually take it off, and that could be quite annoying. But again, we'll fix that later. Okay, so right now, right after we added the landing ID, like I said, that's for the um scroll to top button. I believe that's the right terminology. You always have to get your terminologies correct. You don't want to just make things ability, but although scroll to top is usually what they call that button. Okay, so we're going to eventually make the scroll to top button, but as of right now, let's work on the scroll down. Right now it's an indicator, but we're gonna make it clickable. So the first thing you want to do is go to your scroll down icon section or div, and this is located not too far from landing. Just got to scroll down a little bit and you'll find it right here, this part right here. Scroll down. So we're gonna make this into anchor tag. The first thing you want to do is remove the div and put an A in here. Once you do that, then it automatically takes that div tag and changes the closing div tag into an A, thanks to our extensions that we installed in the past. And I'm sure if you look at some of my videos how to install Visual Studios, VS Code, you're going to notice that this tag is located right here, auto rename tag. And that's why when we change the div into an anchor, it automatically changed it for us. So let's go ahead and get this out the way. And let's make some more space for the editor so things don't look cluttered. Okay, so what we're going to do here, as soon as we change this into an A, we have to reference the ID, and the way we do that is we do href, press tab again, our extensions kick in. I think this is Emmet, and when it kicks in, it automatically finishes our what we're typing. Okay, so now we're gonna just add the hashtag, and I want projects, and then that's all we need to do right now. And if we save it and we go ahead and stop the server and start it all over again, Control C. And we're gonna go ahead and start it. npm start. We'll start the server. And now, as soon as it comes up and everything's uploaded, all we need to do is just click on our newfound button, which wasn't a button, but I prefer calling it a button. It's just it's clickable now. So we click on it and it takes us down to projects. So it was a simple mechanism, a simple line of code that we needed to change. And the Anchor plugin in apps.js, which I showed you, it will then intercept the anchor clicks, and then it's gonna call scrollbar.scroll into view. And these functions will then make the scrolling smooth, and that's why when we did that, it was a scroll down smooth. It didn't like just went down to projects too quick in a way that it didn't look smooth. In this case, that's what scroll into view function is doing, is making obviously the scrolling smooth. And all child elements, they all stayed exactly the same. We didn't have to touch any of the child elements, and that's a good thing, because if not, then we would have gotten this icon here. It wouldn't have looked the way it still looks, because each of these arrows right here are their own elements. So again, this was very smooth and very easy. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next video. The next video is going to be adding the scroll to top button markup. So thank you for joining us and hope to see you soon.